So, I was thinking about the last retreat and some of the things, especially because I had mentioned the Gyoto monks and the Guhya Samaja initiation masters that hadn't been released yet, having been heard at a party that I had attended. And my guru had been involved with a group of people in Tennessee that he was encouraging because they lived in circumstances that were fairly similar to Tibetan circumstances, and he wanted to see how far he could push the differences in terms of generating circumstances in which I could have a more ordinary Tibetan-style life as his Khandro. And they developed a deceptive way in which they would stage circumstances, they would eavesdrop on our conversations, stage circumstances in which the conditions were being met for a long enough period of time that behavior would be exhibited by me, and then they would dissolve the circumstances and my behavior would dissolve, but they would have filmed and imitated that behavior in order to try to cultivate something in my guru to where he thought that I was out there engaging in that behavior, and that he was sacrificing spending time with me so that that wouldn't be disrupted. But what was actually happening was that that behavior would be elicited from me, it would be recorded and documented, and he would notice that the behavior would get stale, that it only went so far, it didn't develop, it didn't go to the next stage. So I busted through all their barriers, and I went to go see him in person at this place, and of course then destroying the circumstances in which any of that could have manifested. And I waited until he was of the age that he would have said that he wouldn't meet with women anymore anyway. So eventually then he came back and he told them that women are for playing. He didn't have enough time for play. Even the yoginis and stuff like that needed to generate a playful energy, and that he didn't really have time for nuns either. And he didn't want me to be there when he said that, because that would have constituted divorce. And he said he would repeat it as many times as he saw women. But he went around because I came in through the eastern door, just giving him stories to talk about and stuff like that. I don't know all the stories, but I think people exaggerate when they talk about the stories. But he would sometimes, when he needed something to talk about on that level, he would talk about how the really sexy yogini was like all about him, and that it was just so heartbreaking that he didn't have any place for her to stay, and just razz these people on that level for a really long time. And meanwhile, he was secretly meeting with me here in Bloomington.